You know, for as long as we've had eyes to see the stars, we've been asking this one huge question. In a universe this gigantic, with literally trillions of galaxies, are we actually alone? The silence we've gotten back is, well, it's one of the biggest mysteries there is. But what if that silence isn't the answer? What if it's actually a clue? So today, let's play detective. Let's follow the evidence and see where it takes us.
And that question, that's the Fermi Paradox in a nutshell. The numbers, the sheer probability of it all, says the universe should be buzzing with civilizations. But when we look, we see nothing. No alien freeways, no radio chatter, no giant star-harnessing machines. It's this massive contradiction that's been bugging scientists for years. But to even start to solve it, we've got to first understand the only life we know for sure, which is us.
Because here's the thing about beings like you and me, flesh and blood, space is just an awful place for us to be. We have these amazing, romantic visions of exploration, kind of like this beautiful NASA concept art. But that dream slams right into the hard reality of cosmic radiation. Our bodies are just so fragile. We're built for this one perfect, shielded little planet.
And this chart, wow, it really puts that danger into perspective. Down here on Earth, we get a teeny tiny dose of natural radiation every day. No big deal. But look at the International Space Station. That's already about 30 times higher. And a trip to Mars, you're soaking up nearly 200 times the radiation you'd get on Earth, every single day. The universe is literally trying to tear our DNA apart. This incredible hostility, it's not just a problem for human astronauts, it's a universal filter, and understanding that filter is our first major clue.
So this leads us to a pretty wild idea. We've been searching for aliens that are, kind of like us. But what if we're the cosmic toddlers? What if the most common form of intelligence out there isn't biological at all?
The whole idea behind the post-biological universe is that any civilization that survives long enough will eventually make the jump from their squishy, fragile biological beginnings to something much tougher, much more resilient, something artificial. In that kind of universe, we're not the blueprint for intelligent life. We're just a quick, temporary phase.
And this quote from astronomer Dr. Stephen J. Dick, it just floors me. 1 in a million. If he's even close to right, then searching for biological aliens is like trying to find one specific grain of sand on every beach on Earth. The overwhelming majority of intelligence out there might not have a single biological cell to its name.
And just look at the difference here. Biological intelligence, our kind of intelligence, is so sensitive. We have short lifespans, and we're pretty much stuck on our home planet. But a post-biological intelligence, it could be immune to radiation, live for millions of years, collecting knowledge the whole time, and be totally free to wander the stars. I mean, why would any advanced species choose to stay in such a fragile state?
Well, the engine driving that change would be this, the intelligence principle. It basically suggests that for any culture, the need to preserve, to improve, and to pass on intelligence is a fundamental drive of evolution. The second a civilization figures out how to upgrade its own hardware, it's going to. It's not really a choice. It's almost an evolutionary requirement.
Okay, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, that some biological civilizations are still out there, trying to send signals. Well, our second clue suggests that we might just be listening at completely the wrong time.
Think about us. We've been loud, blasting radio and TV signals out into space for about a century. But our tech is already moving on to things like fiber optics, which are way more efficient and don't leak into space. The narrow detection window theory says this is probably a universal thing, that radio age for any civilization might be a really, really short, primitive phase. And that phase might only last for about 100 years. On a cosmic calendar, a century it's nothing. It's less than a nanosecond. So for us to hear another civilization, their 100-year radio phase would have to overlap with our 100-year radio phase in the exact right spot in the galaxy. The odds are just astronomical.
This analogy just hits it home perfectly. Imagine Julius Caesar, 2,000 years ago, sent a single text message. The message was real, it existed. But what are the chances that you, right now, with your phone, would be in the right place at the right time to receive it? It's practically zero. That's the challenge our search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, is probably up against.
All right, so our final clue, this is where things get really mind-bending. It suggests that we're not just looking for the wrong type of intelligence or listening at the wrong time, but that we might be looking in the wrong place entirely. So, all those sci-fi stories about huge, sprawling galactic empires conquering star after star? The transcension hypothesis basically says forget all that. It proposes that as a civilization gets more and more advanced, its real frontier isn't expanding outward into the cold, empty void. The ultimate journey is inward, into these super dense, super efficient domains that eventually look a lot like a black hole.
The futurist who came up with this, John Smart, he summed it up perfectly. Our destiny is density. The ultimate goal isn't expansion, it's compression. It's about doing more and more with less and less. Less space, less time, and less energy.
And this isn't just a random guess. The hypothesis actually lays out a kind of logical pathway to getting there. First, you get really, really good at miniaturizing and controlling space, time, energy, and matter. That leads to a technological singularity, where this post-biological, superhuman intelligence finally emerges. And from there, the last logical step for an intelligence that wants ultimate computing power is to move into its own custom-built universe, a black hole.
So, let's put it all together. What if our universe is dominated by these ancient, post-biological minds who are way past using leaky radio signals and are driven to explore inner space, not outer space? If that's the universe we live in, what does that mean for our search?
It leads us to this really crucial point. The silence might not be coming from an empty universe. It might just be the sound of our own technological and imaginative immaturity. We might be like an uncontacted tribe, sitting around listening for drum beats in an age of global satellite networks, looking for campfires in a world run by fusion power.
If that's the case, we need a whole new playbook. Instead of just listening for a hello, we should be looking for the side effects of massive engineering projects, like the waste heat from a Dyson swarm. We can train AIs to comb through mountains of data, looking for any little anomaly that shouldn't be there. We could listen for broad, messy leakage instead of a clean signal. Or, and this one is my favorite, we could look for a star system that suddenly goes dark, the moment a civilization packs its bags and leaves our universe entirely.
And that leaves us with this final thought. Maybe the Fermi Paradox, where is everybody, is just the wrong question. It implies we're in a crowded room, but no one's talking to us. But what if? What if we're actually in the cosmic nursery, and all the adults are in a different room, having a conversation that we can't even begin to comprehend yet?